What's going on, guys? So in this video I'm bringing you 5 very particular fragrances. These are a bit more on the unique side because not everybody wants to smell like your run-of-the-mill mid-level designer fragrances, your blue fragrances, traditional barbershop style fragrances. Sometimes you want something with a little bit of an edge, a little bit of mystique to it, if you will, that will separate you from the crowd. And there's definitely some fragrances out in the marketplace that do just that, and I happen to have 5 brilliant examples of that here in this video that I want to discuss with you about. So stay tuned. This first fragrance is basically a niche blue fragrance, not just because of the bottle color, but because of its versatility, because of the use of the ISOE Super synthetic note here, but the rest of the notes are definitely more on the higher quality side. This is from Ormonde Jayne. This is called Montebaco Verano. This is a beautiful example of what I was talking about. You're not stepping off the beaten path. It's not a very challenging fragrance. You're going to get some citruses. You're going to get a beautiful dose of this lightly smoked leather smell because there's a little bit of an earthy tobacco here as well with this not really much of an animalic leather, but it's a little bit of a darker leather. There's freshness, there's citrus, there's a touch of floral in there as well, just in the backdrop, but it's mostly about this leather. It's a citrus leather type of fragrance with a very strong woody backdrop because of the use of the ISOE Super. There's a variety of notes here, but that's the main things you can expect from this. It definitely has the performance to reach out and grab somebody, and like I said with the scent profile, it's fresh yet grounded and a little bit nuanced with darker notes at the same time. There's a bit of an earthy and slightly animalic tone. Like I said before, not really an animalic leather, but when there's this much leather and tobacco, you will get a little bit of an animalic feel because it does come across a little smoky, even smelling it through the atomizer and especially on my skin. It's a beautiful fragrance that does have a little bit of complexity, but again, nothing challenging here. It is very easy to like, but for being bordering mass appealing, it's quite unique at the same time. From the notes used with the blend, it just comes across as a magnificent, easy grab that has this nice, masculine, slightly upscale appeal to it, to where it'll dress up very, very well, but also work just as well casually with a nice V-neck or a t-shirt on. It just has that level of versatility. Performance is lights out for this scent profile, in my opinion. It just sticks to the skin like glue. It's light and airy. It has a strong aromatic presence to it and brightness at the top, and the use of ISOE Super really gives it a nice backbone to really push through the entire life of the fragrance with a pretty solid level of sillage. Your scent bubble, your trail, it's going to have a little bit of oomph to it. So if you're looking for something that'll be a little bit different, not your typical run-of-the-mill, something a little bit more unique that'll separate you from those around you without being challenging, this is definitely a great fragrance to look into. Get a sample and try Montebaco Verano from Ormonde Jayne. Next is one of the more complex, fresher fragrances I've ever smelled. Such a unique blend of notes. There's a ton of notes here, but what I get from it mostly is this beautiful warm orange citrus, a lot of this boozy hit of rum that really warms the fragrance up, some herbal components, some light spices, a lot of woods, and a muskiness that's unlike any other that I've smelled. We're talking about Roja Parfums. This is Burlington 1819. An extremely unique, more on the fresher side type of fragrance, but loads of character, loads of depth. So many layers to peel away with this fragrance. That beautiful citrus rind smell is right here in the air, right in that top note. And like I said, you get a nice hit of rum that provides this warm, boozy feel, but it never becomes too much rum or a very heavily alcoholic smell. It's not the easiest fragrance to detect specific notes, though you can pick a few out, especially once you become more familiar with it, but it's mostly about the accords. It's citrus, it's warm, it's boozy, it's spicy, it's very woody, and it's extremely musky on my skin. An oddly attractive animalic type of musky feel. Not too animalic to where it's challenging, but definitely kind of counterbalances the freshness and the booze that you're going to get at the top. This is, like I said before, full of character, loads of depth, and a lot of layers to peel away. Performance is very stout on this one. It will stick to your skin like glue, just like with the previous fragrance. And after about 2 hours, it does calm down a bit more. It's not quite as loud, but it's a very bright and airy scent profile, especially in the top note. So it does have the ability to really intrigue and captivate those around you in the first few hours. And when it settles into its sillage, like I said, it's not an overwhelmingly strong, stout sillage, but it's detectable, it's noticeable. It will randomly remind you as the wearer that, hey, I'm here, I'm on your skin. You will get nice, not light, but not too heavy wafts off of your skin all throughout your day, regardless of what you do for a living, whether you're in an office setting or you're outdoors. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is high class stuff. Like I said, this is not typically something that is going to be dressed down, but I do think it can be more casual if you choose to be casual with it, but it definitely has more of a professional, more upscale elegance to it. But like I said, it can go either way. It's signature scent level type of stuff, in my opinion, because there's plenty of freshness, but at the same time, there's plenty of this animalic, musky tone, a little hit of booze that kind of refines it and, like I said, raises it to make it a little bit more upscale. So it can really go either way. It's all up to you. I personally think it's signature scent worthy and one of the more unique fragrances out there that isn't really a challenging fragrance. Get your nose on this one. Price per ml is definitely on the higher side, but it's an experience worth having because if you have the money to spend, this could be that one fragrance to set you apart. It's Roja Parfums, Burlington, 1819. A nice aquatic tone from some violet leaf, a nice hit of spice from cinnamon and things like that. There's a nice herbaceous fresh green tea note. You get a little bit of this more herbal leafy type of tobacco. Very unique, daily wear, signature scent worthy type of fragrance. This is the older bottle style, but the juice is the same. This is Manhattan from City Rhythm Fragrances. This is a special fragrance in my personal opinion because you get a lot of aspects of what makes for a great daily wear versatile fragrance. You get some freshness, you get some spices. It's a little aquatic. Like I said, the violet leaf gives off this aquatic ozonic feel without making it too watery of a scent, but there's a little bit of a watery feel, adding to that freshness in the top. And then it's very grounded with this leafy, herbal, like a green leaf tobacco type of smell that isn't often used in fragrances. Usually it's a bit more of a moist pipe tobacco or cigar tobacco type of smell with the tobacco leaf, whereas here, like I said, it's more leafy green, aromatic, and herbal. It's beautiful. Like I said, there's a little bit of a tea note that adds to the herbal feel with the tobacco. So it's a little earthy, but not really all that much. It's quite versatile. I think it works very well in the heat as long as you're modest with the sprays. I wouldn't want to go too heavy of a spray on it because it is a 50% oil concentration. Performance is bananas on this one. If you're looking for a stout performer, something that's going to stay on your skin until you take your shower that evening, this is definitely one of those types of fragrances. Projection's a little bit on the moderate to slightly heavy side early on. So again, you don't need a ton of sprays, but this one has a class and elegance, but also a more playful side to it. So that's why I deem it so well for this topic, because it's a very unique scent profile, but it's not a challenging scent profile. And it can go through every aspect of your day now I wouldn't want to wear something this strong to the gym, obviously, but as far as your work day, casual things that you may do on a day off or the weekends, going to lunch, going to dinner, going have drinks, it kind of works in all of those situations across all 4 seasons. So it was an ideal choice and a no-brainer, really, for this video topic because it's quite unique, quite elegant, and just flat out different and enjoyable. And that's what a lot of people are looking for these days because there's so many fragrances that smell like one another. It's refreshing to come across something that smells great, not challenging, but still unique. That's definitely the case. With City Rhythm Fragrance, Manhattan. Next is probably the most versatile from the house of Kajal Perfumes. I've been an advocate for this fragrance for a few years now. It's got plenty of freshness. It's got a little bit of oud. It's a great summertime oud, believe it or not, but it still has a lot of depth. It's very grounded, and it's very powerful to where it is signature scent year-round type of performance because you really need that performance to cut through the cold a lot of the times. We're talking about Kajal Homme, the original Kajal Homme, not Kajal Homme 2. Though that's a very versatile fragrance in its own right, I find this is a bit more unique and has its own thing going. Beautiful orange and orange blossom dominance in the top. So if you're not a fan of orange blossom, you may not like this. I know that some people don't like that note. But there's a nice light tonka bean powdery sweetness. Yes, even in this high-level luxury fragrance, a well-done tonka bean note. For sure. Don't think designer level, because tonka bean can kind of be played out with a lot of blue fragrances and such. Here it's done just right. The oud here provides more of this warm wood, almost pencil shavings type of vibe. It's a drier type of oud. It's really lovely. It's got an elegance to it, but believe me, I've worn this with a t-shirt in Houston, Texas summertime heat, and it works just fine. I've worn it to work in Houston, Texas summertime heat. And I've worn it as well the week before New Year's Eve in the cold here in Colorado Springs, where it's a real winter, where we get snow and such. So it really can do everything. It's the best choice from the house. If you're looking for something that's an everyday grab, a signature scent everyday fragrance that offers luxury, offers class, but is not too serious, and it doesn't smell like really anything else. I've never smelled this scent profile in any other bottle of fragrance. It's quite unique. Pricey, sure, as all of these are in this video. If you're looking for uniqueness and quality, you're going to spend a little more, but you're going to get more for your money, and that's definitely the case with fragrances like Kajal Homme. Definitely get a discovery set and check it out as part of the original collection from Kajal. It's Kajal Homme. Last but most certainly not least is the newest release of the recording of this video from Argos. Again, you're getting next level presentation, and this is, without a shadow of a doubt, from what I've tried, the most masculine rose fragrance out there. It is Adonis Awakens. First and foremost, let's take a moment to admire this gorgeous enamel painting on the metal plaque on the front of this bottle. But what I find so interesting and refreshing about this fragrance is how the rose never comes across fresh and watery like a Turkish rose. There's a little bit of Bulgarian rose that's kind of a thicker rose in the top with a rose absolute that's in the base of the fragrance. So you get a level of rich rose, warm rose the whole way through. There's some citruses at the top that offer a little bit of freshness, but there's no watery, mouth-watering citrus, at least to my nose, on my skin, or even out in the air with this spray, for example. I don't get a bunch of citrus. What it's all about for me is a lot of this beautiful creamy sandalwood that offers this nice radiance with the rose. The raspberry, again, adds a little bit of sweetness to go with the vanilla, but it's not a really juicy fragrance. It's actually a little bit on the drier side, and it's very warm and brilliant. There's a touch of powderiness here, but it's more from this dry, dusty aspect. But I don't even necessarily think it's completely from the rose. I think the rose just plays a part in it. It's got a little bit of spice here from the pink peppercorn that is used. Sometimes it can be a little more sweet than spice. Here, I feel like it's pretty well balanced and it offers a nice touch of warm spice, more so than any fresh spice. And with the jasmine, I don't get much of it. If anything, it just adds to the floral tone, that radiant floral smell from the two different types of rose. This is all about rose and woods with a little bit of warm spice. That's the main things that comes across to me. I haven't smelled a rose fragrance like this before. This is another one that was an ideal choice for this video topic because it's just so damn unique, and it's amazing. It really is. This is amazing. This is an experience worth trying. If you've been looking for that one set you apart luxury fragrance, this might be that fragrance. You can get carded samples from Argos. It's pretty easy to get either a full sample pack and try the whole house, which I advise you to try Triumph of Bacchus as well, and Danye. But if you're just looking for the one, you spend the couple bucks, get your 10% off with the code below, and try this. Try this. Even if you're not the biggest fan of rose, it's worthy of trying. It may make you a believer, but if you are a fan of rose fragrances, which there are guys out there that are into it, this is definitely much more on the masculine side. I definitely think ladies can pull this off, but ladies that like slightly masculine fragrances, because this, like I said, it definitely leans more to the masculine side. Performance, again, outrageous. On skin all day, heavier on the sillage than some of the others in this video, where it can really grab you at any given point. It radiates off the skin. This is the most radiant, that's why I keep bringing that word up in this video, the most radiant fragrance on my skin in this particular video. Definitely get a sample and try it. I've been loving this one lately. I've worn it a few times recently. It's Adonis Awakens from Argos. Well, that is the 5 that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried any of the fragrances in this video? Did any of them pique your interest and you feel like you need to get a sample? I'll make sure to link websites and any available codes or anything like that down below in the video description. If you want to try a sample from any of these, you can get samples and or discovery sets that feature these fragrances without having to commit to a bottle, just so you can see if it's for you, because these are higher end luxury fragrances. These are priced per ml higher than, I mean, they're not cheapies, they're not mid-level designers, these are luxury fragrances. So I would advise definitely try before you buy. Don't just blind buy a bottle. Sample. If any of this interests you, sample, sample, sample. Don't just blind buy a bottle. And until next time, I will say, if you do end up getting your nose on any of these 5 and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later, because they're not your average run-of-the-mill stuff. And these will definitely set you apart. Have a good one, guys.